Dragonborn. The world filled before them as their bodies raced towards the earth. It felt like forever, yet the child on Soul's back never eased his smile. The vast forest grew as they fell. Huge mushroom plants and giant trees filled the land below, as well as floating islands of rock and some only water passed as they made their way, flying to the ground. Let's get out of this place quickly, Soul said over his shoulder without raising a normal tone. A nod was all he needed from Lala. I changed Love's name to Lala. I forgot that I wanted it to be hers. Her story is very old in my head. Sorry. The earth escalated before them, and as it hit face to face, a blinding light flew over the child's sight. It was hard to see everything before Bon. His eyes filled with the sway of light. However, as he focused intently ahead, he could barely make out the sight of the giant mushroom trees for an instant before it turned into the blinding sway. It's quite all right for you to close your eyes, boy. Soul, speaking in calmly tone, it must be a surprise to move this fast. Don't worry. You should really shut your eyes, however. We are going to start moving faster. Bon felt them lower for a bit and felt Soul push upward again. As if lightning struck, a thunderclap roared in an instant yet faded behind them as quickly as it came. The child closed his eyes as the bright sway sickened in its speed. We are finally here. Soul smirks as they stop. Bon opens his tightly shut eyes questioningly for the fact that only seconds ago he had shut them. His eyes adjust to the natural light, and everything is quite focused, the swayed space gone. His amazement only grew as he took in the nature around him. It was very much early day as they left his father's floating castle, though here it was dim, as if the day was ending. The air felt crisp on the boy's face. Seeing that they were in a forest, a drastically different one compared to the life of them. Instead of giant mushroom trees from before, this forest had world-like trees far too big, yet here they stood, tall and vibrant. Massive trunks stretched the ground and peak high above to the stretching of wild branches that blanket the sky. Though, besides the sight of the massive trees, it was the leaves that took the boy and filled his gaze. A soft glow buzzed from each leaf, and as the leaf swayed, so it would seem their colors did as well. They rippled and swayed as the calm leaves buzzed, a soft green, and as the faint wind hit, they turned a brighter buzz, yet would darken in shade if the breeze was strong. The boy wondered at the waves above him as Soul knelt him off his back. They call it the glowing forest of the beasts. It is quite beautiful. However, you should not wander alone, Soul says rather seriously. This is a massive forest indeed, and there are equally massive creatures dwelling in her. Bon takes his eyes from the glow and looks at the strange man, his white hair struck. My name is Soul, and this is Debria, though you can call her Lala, as she prefers. Looking into the hollow tree, his sighs great. Taking his thumb, he bites, puncturing it to bleed, and runs it along his forearm. The blood trickles. Come now. The blood on Soul's arm lights a faint white, and in that second a creature's there. Hello, my friend. Could you please make this space quite livable? Soul asked kindly. Will the boy be staying? The creature asked dully. Yes. The hollow tree before them is closed except for the massive split that opens at the stump. The creature quickly makes his way inside and begins to speak in a vibration Bon isn't sure of. Taking a minute or two, the vibration eases and all is quiet for a second. Creeping back out, all is finished, Master Soul. Soul reaches into his sleeves and pulls out a handful of what looks like gems to Bon and extends them to his strange friend. You really do pay far too much, the creature says hastily, waving his hands, not wanting to take the gems. My friend, these are gems of unbreaking. You surely know. I am not paying for the setup. A single gem like this is worth a lifetime, and that is what I am asking for. Soul, ruffling the gems in his palm. This child needs her upbringing, yet it's been far too long for myself. Eating, sleep, health, lively knowledge. Lala can keep the child alive, and I can make sure he doesn't get himself killed. Yet we need one who can teach him how to live, or at least the basics. Still ruffling the gems in hand. The creature glances over the child and needingly eyes the gems rattling in the palm raised out before him. Still, regardless so, you need only ask and I shall be there. Gems or not, my friend. Soul tosses the gems to the short creature. Without hesitation, the creature takes hold and opens one side of his coat and catches the gems inside. As if nothing had happened, he straightens up and slightly dusts off the shoulder of his coat with his paw. As for some other things you can teach the boy, please teach him how to use these as well when he is able. Saying with slight amusement, Soul winks at his friend. It is interesting. How did you manage to get your hands on a Dragonborn? Walking up to the boy, the creature takes the child by the chin and pulls his head in every direction, taking deep study of the slight wonder of the child's faint gold buzz. The king's request could not be denied, Soul answers. Bon, do not fret this man before you. You are in good hands with him. You may call him Caparoso, though his friends and others know him as the Meister. He is an old friend which you needn't hold back trust. Quite short, the creature stands, coming to the height of the child's shoulders. Raggedy features paint his scar-ridden face, though his bright eyes and soft fur make his ragged details seem warm and kind. His clothes seemed used, though durable none the least. The nicest item the creature seemed to have was the fine coat he had caught the gems in. Compared to his rugged underclothes, the coat hadn't a tear or even a scuff on it. His fur-covered ears pointed high, and paws as hands, with a tail to match. Why, yes, this creature is a cat on 2 feet. Letting go of the child's face, the Meister makes his way back into the giant hollowed tree. Well, come now, boy. Let's get a proper reading of you, beckoning them to follow. Inside the hollow, Bon is amazed by the size of the filled tree. A vast filled hollow. Every amenity one might need, or in fact many it seems. Beds and books, tables, cauldrons, fireplace, food, water, couches, dressers, and entirely closed-off rooms to themselves. Yet, it was the lights that really dazzled the hollow. Along the inside wood of the hollow, flowers have sprouted throughout, high into the tree's vast form. They filled the empty world, and as Bon looks up he sees the fading light of the sky above, as light peeks in from the open top of the hollowed tree. The flowers, however, were quite unique, so bright they shined. The ones close enough for Bon to touch were dim, though, and didn't have the spark it seemed the ones sprouted towards the high top of the hollow. Catching the natural light of the sky, the high flowers blazed in their magical colors. Come now, child, the Meister scruffs. You can stare at singing flowers when you're gray and I'm gone. Sit on this stool and take off your shirt. I shall read your spine. Bon did as he was instructed, though he had no understanding of how one could read a spine, let alone learn anything from it. The Meister eyes the boy's back, and at the faint golden light he could see in its shining out. This ought to be interesting. Adjusting the fine coat, the feline takes a rather serious expression, scruffling his nose in a way that made his whiskers dance back and forth. Taking both paws, he reaches out towards Bon's back, yet not touching the boy. Warmth fills Bon, and he tenses behind the rather strange feeling. Ah, this is quite fascinating, the Meister purrs, swaying his furry paws. Can you read it, Master Soul? Something pops and turns to shimmering dust in Soul's hand. No. Well, rather unsurprised, take hold of my shoulder and have a look. Bon sits uneasy as the two talk behind him, and as Soul grabs onto his cat-like friend, Bon feels a blaze from the strange warmth flooding his back. He looks back to see the two, and is distracted by the dazzling light between him and the Meister's paws. What is this? Bon questions. Looking at the two, though, now, seeing them, Bon is more amazed at the state the two are in. The Meister's fur dances as if he's in the middle of a truly wild storm, though his expression shows little worry or care for it. He continues studying Bond's spine. Soul, however, is in a much greater force, it seems, altogether. Rapid breath ripped from his chest as he clings to the Meister's shoulder. His face leaves Bond in utter worry, as Soul looks as if he's in a downpour. His strained-looking body is drenched in sweat, one eye closed as he tries to read the spine. As Bond looks, he sees a glow about the storm the two are in, the chaotic glow dancing. "Ah, so you see it, child," the Meister chimes. "This." Soul releases his friend with a heavy breath, and Bond sees Lala touch his forehead with the palm of her hand, his white hair heavy with sweat. Though Bond hadn't noticed Lala before that second, and couldn't recall when or if she followed them into the Great Hollow. She instantly takes her palm away from his forehead, walking off. She was gone, and Soul, beside his sweat-riddled hair, was ease.